Wow. Alright guys, because the guy in here, Jamaican YouTuber. I'm out here in Kisarazu heading to work and it's really windy, so I apologize, the audio quality is not that great. But today's video is about things I wish people told me before I moved to Japan. Things I wish I knew before coming to Japan. Not the stuff like, oh my god, I wish someone told me Japan was so beautiful. Looking at us. No, I'm talking about real issues and real stuff that will affect persons' decision to come here or will prepare persons better for living in Japan. All right, so let's get into it. Bam! All right, so one of the things I wish I knew before coming to Japan was that Japan, although really advanced in most things, they're still very much behind in other things. They still use fax machines. They still have some archaic bank processes and stuff. People still require the inkan here to be used to sign and stuff. And if you don't have an inkan, you pretty much are screwed. And if you forget your inkan to do something with the bank and you lose your bank book, you're pretty much screwed. The inkan is almost more important than your gaijin card, right? So a lot of things here still have a lot of processes that could be improved. And another thing with the technology is that although you might see a lot of advertisements or a lot of people posting about really advanced toilets here in Japan and toilet seats with heating installed and Wi-Fi and music in the background and bidets, you have a Japanese traditional toilet which requires you to squat. No, well, first world country. I don't know if that's something, but this is a part of Japanese tradition. And you know, they say squatting is better for you when you take a dump because you don't actually pinch the lower intestine. It's only curved, so it allows a freer flow of stuff to go through, and you actually clear out more-ish than usual. But fine, move right along. That's whatever. I wish someone had told me about the train system here in Japan, being that depending on where you are, it can be really busy or really basically non-existent. So depending on where you live in Japan, if you live in the more rural areas, it can be like one train every hour or every 2 hours, and your last train might be as early as 8:30 or 9 p.m. Or it'll be very frequent like in the cities, and so you'll have trains up until 11, 12, even 1 o'clock to get to your destination. Something else I wish someone had told me was how expensive it can be to travel in Japan, especially by a train. I mean, within the cities or within your little areas it's pretty cheap, but once you start getting outside of the prefecture and that sort of thing, expensive. Shinkansen is almost like a plane ride, basically a plane ticket. And to be honest, I guess because the Shinkansen lands you right smack in the middle of the cities, it's better than the airports that are way out of the way and you still have to take a train to come in. I wish I had known that. Another thing I wish I knew, or a person had told me before coming to Japan, was that it's best to live in a rural area a bit for maybe a year or two or even 6 months and then move to a big city, because at that point you'll assimilate more of the Japanese earlier in your life and then be able to basically deal with all the hustle and bustle of the city. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something which persons also told me in Japan told me before moving to Japan was how inflexible Japanese people can be. Like seriously, like how inflexible customer service reps can be here in Japan. Like at restaurants or at the telephone shop or even the bank. If it's not in their manual, they don't know how to use discretion. So a lot of persons, foreigners especially, get frustrated when something with using a little common sense could save us waiting half an hour to speak to a manager who still can't help us. You know what I mean? So for instance, you want to have a fish sandwich with cheese on it at McDonald's. If the fish sandwich doesn't come with cheese naturally, you can't actually pay for the cheese to be put on the sandwich as a topping, which is really weird, right? But you would never know that because people don't talk about that stuff. They're like, oh, look at this kawaii cotton candy and all this cute. These are real issues, man, that affect people that look like me. Also, a lot of persons don't talk about this, but the fact of the matter is Japan is basically built for smaller persons. So if you're fat or big boned or have big feet or need bigger clothes, Japan might not be the place for you to buy or shop. Online shopping might be limited as well, so it's best to get all of your stuff from wherever. If you live near to an army base, you might be in luck, but for those who don't have that luxury, buy all your clothes. Buy all your shoes, because it's going to be frustrating going to shop here. Size 13 and over, forget it, buddy, forget it. And even if you find those shoes are more expensive. I think they mark up the prices here on the bigger shoes. I swear to God. Swear to God. Swear to God. Also, if you're black like Piggles, and have hair like me, hair products here are very hard to get. 1 second, who's calling me? Hold on. Yo, Jerry. Yo, may I record a video? Give me 5 minutes. Sorry about that. Yeah. Right. So what was I talking about? Yeah. So if you are a black person and you possess natural hair, you're gonna need to get all the hair products sent to you or whatever, because they don't exist here in Japan except on army bases and very few places. You know. Another thing I wish people had told me in Japan was how Japanese people, they're either two extremes. They're either nice or they're assholes. Like, seriously, I wish someone had said to me, hey, Andre, be prepared. There's no in-between Japanese person. They're either nice or they're really real dicks. They're either racist or they're not, pretty much. Or xenophobic or they're not. That's pretty much it. There's no in-between. There's no halfway crooks here. And Japan is all about black and white. There's no gray area per se. You know, if everybody is black, everybody has to be black. If everybody's white, everybody has to be white. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. One of the things I wish people told me before I came to Japan, and it's something that I've spoken about already, but I have to put it in this video. People don't talk about it enough, and it is something, the sexual harassment that happens here. I'm not talking about the girls on the train, I'm talking about me as a male. I'm talking about being touched and asked and all of that, and asking about my penis and that sort of thing, or my dick. And Japanese males being so fascinated with phalluses. They even have a festival here, a fertility festival, where there are big phalluses being carried around. And it comes out, especially when they're drunk, they get very touchy-feely here. And oftentimes they touch each other and they don't see it as anything. But to me, that's normal, to me. And so I've had experiences where I've been groped in the club and at bars, and man, it's just not a good feeling. And to be honest, you know, it's really safe generally speaking here in Japan, but for a lot of women here, especially foreign women, Japanese men feel they're gods, and so they feel they can act with impunity. And up to recently, one of my friends had an experience where she rebuffed a Japanese guy's advances, and he, while on his bike, did something to her. And I mean, I felt so incensed about it. And so, yeah, no one really talks about these things, and they're brushed under the carpet and pushed aside. But a lot of things are happening in this country that persons are not speaking about, I guess because they don't want to upset whoever and whatever, but that's fine. And you know what? I understand Japanese people who get upset about persons who come to Japan talking about the bad things about their country, because I wouldn't want anybody going to Jamaica and seeing stuff and talking about it either. But if the thing exists and it's happening at a rate that is not normal, I mean, that's something that happens so often that they have to create women-only cars. You know, they have to, during the week, and that's during rush hour, especially because of the amount of incidents that have occurred, and because of the Japanese culture of gaman, which is fighting through, bearing through an unbearable situation, or showing resolve. The gaman culture, which speaks to suffering and not complaining, and being able to go through hardships without complaining, and just going and gambating and fighting through it. It really covers a lot of things here that persons don't speak about. And it's fine, but don't act like it doesn't happen. You know, if I have to talk about it, but don't act like it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? That's one of the things. Also, what I wish persons had told me before I came to Japan was that a lot of Japanese girls love black men, to be honest. And they love black men to a point, I guess, to do whatever and to experiment or to sample or whatever they want to do. And then they probably go back to whoever they want to go back to. And that's fine. But I didn't know that they really love black men like that. You know? Nobody asked me why I'm single, because that's another story for another video. Next, I wish someone had told me that when you come to Japan, other foreigners are not necessarily with you and they don't really care about you. Especially black foreigners. A lot of black foreigners, just like, I don't know, are really... Let me say it. I wish someone had told me that a lot of black foreigners are only black in terms of their skin color. They don't identify as black persons. Yeah. I wish someone had told me that a lot of foreigners here are really against other foreigners being successful, and would rather see a Japanese person be successful than their fellow foreigner. Yeah. I wish someone had told me when I came to Japan that sometimes you will feel so alone in a country, yet a country that is so populated. You know, a lot of persons come to Japan and become depressed for whatever reason. And you can feel so alone at sometimes when you need somebody to reach out to talk to and there's no one there. You know what I mean? And it's not like you can just go to your neighbor, hey neighbor, let's go for a drink. No, everyone is to themselves. I wish someone had told me that Japan had such a big drinking culture. Listen, I came to Japan without doing much research. I just wanted to know where I was living, if I could get to there, and whatever, and if I needed Japanese, that's it. But these things I wish person had told me that there's a big drinking culture in Japan. And so if you're a strong drinker and you come to Japan, you'll fit in perfectly fine. Because they have a lot of drinking parties, drinking meetings, and drinking whatever. Drinking. Another thing I wish I knew before moving to Japan was that, you know, there are not really a lot of black hair care persons here. So if you can't cut your own hair and don't live close to a city, better buy a shear and your scissors and a mirror and get your practice. But the good thing is people don't really care about haircuts or lineups out here in Japan. You know, they only love your hair because it's tall and fluffy and whatever. But other than that, get to a close city, get to a couple barbers. Tokyo, Osaka, there are a couple barbers in and around those areas that can help you out, you know? Yeah. I wish that person told me before I came to Japan that Japanese people are one of the most inquisitive set of human beings the world has ever seen. They want to know everything about you. And even when you don't volunteer the information, they find a way to try to get it out of you. Like, yeah. Hold on one second. I wish someone had told me before I came to Japan to work that these Japanese kids ain't shit. Like, seriously. I don't know I don't know why people have this whole idea that Japanese kids are the most disciplined set of students in the world. Perish that thought. Get it out of the brain. It's all lies. All lies. You know what I wish somebody had told me before I came to Japan? That you should bring some of your food from home to last you like 2 months or so. Your seasonings, your vital stuff, because Japan's food is really bland, to be honest. And after a while, if you've been here, you start to like, you know, to get used to it. And then when you go back home, in reverse culture, it's like everything is too salty, everything is too sugary. So I wish persons had told me that. I wish somebody had told me before I come to Japan that taxes are going to be the death of you. I mean, Japan would tax you to breathe if they could. Japan would put a foreigner tax. I am sure that the city tax for us is probably higher than city tax for other Japanese person. I swear. Because there's no reason for us to be out here in these streets suffering and paying so much money and we're not really getting much benefits from it. Health insurance too? Oh my god, guys, I'm telling you about health insurance. Your first year is 2,000. Health insurance is crazy, man. First year is 2,000, then the next year it goes up like almost 200 million%. We jump to 16 and then it depends on the city you're in. It's crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy, man. And I just don't know why we have to pay so much money. Not to talk about pension. So Japan, a lot of things they don't tell you about that. Alright guys, so what I wish I knew before coming to Japan as well was that Japan is really big. Like it's deceptively huge. You know what I mean? Because the guys in Jamaican YouTuber here, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already and smash that like button. Comment down below. Let me know what things you wanted to know before moving to a foreign country. And for those who are living in Japan, tell me what things you wish you knew before moving here. Alright, see you in the next video. I'm out. Boom.